Welcome to Human, Not Superhero, a show for teachers. Tonight we're going to talk about how I realized I was my own worst enemy until I figured out that teachers aren't superheroes. And once I took the cape off, that burden finally lifted and I was able to enjoy my life so much more. My name's Shannon, and I'm an educator just like you. I go to work every day and I have a passion for my classroom and my students. But I remember what it was like being the last one to leave the parking lot at the end of the day more than once, and taking things home on the weekends to prep and grade, falling asleep with my intended Netflix binge just so Netflix could watch me, until I made a conscious decision to not let teacher take over my life and to get rid of my superhero teacher cape. Now I enjoy not only teaching, but every other area of my life. And I want you to do that too. So let's talk about superheroes and what makes a superhero. I love superhero movies. Remember those Netflix benches? Yeah, a lot of them. Superhero stuff. Love all kinds of superheroes. One of my favorite superheroes is Iron Man. If Iron Man is in the movie, I'm watching it. I don't care if it's cameo, if it's all about him, all the better. I love Iron Man. He's my dude, okay? He speaks to me. I I don't know if you have a superhero that's your favorite. I don't even know if you like superhero movies, but for me, Iron Man, he does it for me. So, what makes Iron Man Iron Man? What makes him a superhero? Well, he has this fancy suit. It's connected to a computer AI that can tell him all kind of stuff and adjust on the fly. And speaking of fly, it actually lets him fly. He can go to outer space. He has all the weapons and tools he needs to save the day right here in this suit that he puts on. And he doesn't even have to like truly get up and get dressed and get ready. He's just like, hey, suit, come on. And it's like, do, 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 do. And his suit is on. And when crisis comes a calling, he has nothing else going on in his life. I mean, sometimes miss pots, but not really. So he comes in when they call, and there he is. He can jump to the rescue and save the day. The FBI and the police and DHS and all those other people call him to come save the day. Is any of this starting to sound familiar? Can you resonate with that just a little bit? Except you're not a superhero. You're human. Because to be this superhero, Iron Man has to have a ton of money. I don't know any millionaire teachers. He has to have all the time in the world and basically nothing else going on in his life. But hey, he saves the day. He's Iron Man. He's great, right? That's what makes him a superhero. Friends, I want you to free your mind. You're no less of a teacher if you take off the fictional superhero cape. Well, what do I mean? Let's talk about who is the human. Under that iron suit, who's the human? Tony Stark. And you know what, guys? Honestly, that's why I love Iron Man so much. Because of the human underneath, Tony Stark. He's sarcastic. He has an attitude problem. He speaks to me. I don't know about you. I always like the jerks in the movies, and he's kind of a jerk. I enjoy it. I don't know why, but love his attitude. But it's Tony Stark, the human. And when Tony doesn't have his suit on, before he ever put his suit on, nobody could argue that he was not a remarkable human being. He had gifts, and he was so talented and so smart. Like he had things going on for him that other people didn't have going on as a human before Iron Man ever came to be. So here's a spoiler alert, my dear friends. You have gifts too that are just as remarkable and just as unique as my most favorite sarcastic, Tony Stark. And that's all you need to be the remarkable, effective, inspirational educator that you are, is the human, the person that you are. You don't need the iron suit. Tony didn't need the iron suit. Tony could have just been Tony for the rest of his life And he would have had a great life and inspired so many and done all these great and wonderful things for the world without being Iron Man. And you can too. You have gifts, not superpowers. That is what is remarkable, the human you. And you deserve to tap into that. You deserve to be able to have your gifts, to be an effective educator, and be human. And you can start that journey just like I did by going to makewaveseducation.com/balance. There's a free guide on there. It's your recipe to a balanced teacher life from burnout to brighter days ahead. Because honestly, that superhero cape, that's the burnout. Your brighter days ahead are embracing that you're human and that your gifts are remarkable. So let's just talk a little bit about the superhero storyline and what that really means. Well, in every superhero movie, because I told y'all, superhero junkie, there's this evil villain, some mastermind that's coming to destroy the world, and the only person who can beat it is the superhero. Apparently, nobody else can do it, just the superhero. So I ask you, when you think about your job, what you went to school for, to educate, who is the villain? Because in every superhero movie, to have a superhero, there must be a villain. So who's the villain in your storyline? And I'm not talking about all the stuff you're fed up with. I'm not talking about, the things that make you cringe on a daily that are causing the burnout and overwhelm. I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about go all the way back to when you decided to go in the classroom and that passion, that fire you had and your why. And think about those things and what you were going to do every day as an educator. The things that actually make you an educator, you and your students, and learning. Who's the villain in that? In your classroom every day, who's the villain? Is it the students? Nope. Is it whole group lessons? Mm-mm. Is it small group lessons? No. Is it the aha moments that come? No. Is it those awesome relationships that you build with your students? Is that the villain? No. Because there isn't one. When it comes to what you actually are, when it comes to what you actually do, what you signed up to do, let me say that. What you signed up to do, there isn't a villain. The villain in the story is all the things outside of your four classroom walls that you're fed up with, that you're sick of, and that are making you doubt if you can even continue to educate, but the things you feel you have to do to be a good educator. See, we've been led to believe that teachers are superheroes and teaching is my superpower, but we're not. Because remember, superheroes are fictional, y'all. They're not real. You're real. And you're not in a comic or a movie. You're in the real world teaching real students. You're not a superhero. You can take the cape off. Because when I think about Iron Man, why do I love him so much as a superhero? It's because of Tony Stark. That's why he's my favorite superhero. It's the actual human that made me like the fake superhero person. But I just really enjoy Tony Stark, that character. And your students want to enjoy you. And you make an impact. And you impact that world. And if there's no villain in our classroom, if there's truly no villain that we signed up for when we decided to teach, there's not, then why are we putting on superhero capes? Who are we fighting? What are we saving from demise? We're not. We're kind of putting on the cape to help all the things we're fed up with. A fake enemy, a pretend enemy that if you don't do it, nobody else will. That you are all the things that you're not. You're an educator. That's all you are. You're human. And that's perfectly acceptable. And that makes you remarkable. But in your storyline, there's no villain. So why are we acting like there is one? You're not fighting bad guys. You're inspiring the future. And that's a really big difference. And to do that, you need to be human. To do that, you need to have balance in your life. You don't have to be a superhero and take the weight of the world onto your shoulders, which comes from the fake superhero persona, the fake cape that has been pressured onto educators to put on. And you can start that journey today. You don't have to wait. Just go to makewaves.education.com/balance to get your recipe for a balanced teacher life, from burnout to brighter days ahead. Because a burned out teacher is not an effective teacher. A teacher who's wearing a superhero cape, that's not real. Our students deserve to have the real us with our real gifts. And remember, a superhero needs a ton of money, a ton of time, and nothing else going on in their life. That's not you. You're a real human. You deserve to be able to do what you love, which is teach, and all of the other things too. You deserve to go pour your heart out every day to your students, love on them, teach them, have those moments, and then clock out and go home and not have to worry about anything else. And remember in the beginning when we were talking about superheroes and how all those other departments just let Iron Man take care of the bad guy, the police and DHS and all of that? Well, because they had a superhero. Stop being a superhero and let the other people who are gifted in other areas step up to do the things that have been put on your shoulder to do. Because you're not a counselor. You're not a social worker. You're not a resource provider. But there are other people who are and who are so gifted in those areas. And it doesn't make you any less of an educator not to be specialized in those areas. You are specialized in something, which is education. Something not everybody can do. Like Tony Stark, not everybody can be Tony Stark and be the whiz that he was. And you have special gifts. And your gifts are remarkable, just as they are without a fake mask or a fictional cape. And you can be effective, and you can grow students, and you can make a difference, and you can inspire, and you can shape futures. You're inspiring futures. But we're not saving anybody from demise. The only demise is putting on things and burdens on ourselves that we really don't have to bear. Because when we put on the superhero cape and we hide who we truly are, we're not only doing a disservice to ourselves, but we're doing a disservice to our students too. Because that's not what we signed up for. And we aren't fictional. We're human. Next week, we're going to talk about reclaiming your authentic self, the person you are without the superhero cape. Because I know it can be a little bit scary to think about taking it off, because we've been led to believe if we don't do it, nobody else will. Or this is just a job and we have to deal with it. Or if we don't like it, we have to quit. But guess what, my friends? We don't. We can teach, love our jobs, and still have a life. We don't have to choose the lesser of two evils, which is to sit there and suffer or quit. There is a third option. The first step towards that third option is taking off your superhero cape and embracing that you are human and not a superhero. But I wore that identity for a long time, my fictional superhero teacher self. And I remember what it feels like to start peeling that away and wondering, am I really a good educator? Do I really care? Because people use that against you when you start to be human. If you're human, you must not love your students. If you're human, you must not care. But you do. And so we're going to explore that next week when we reclaim our authentic selves. And I like to say, it's never too late to start a new story. And your new story begins today when you decide that you love yourself as the human you are with the remarkable gifts you possess, nixing off that superhero fictional cape You don't have to wear it, my friend. I will see you next week when we talk about reclaiming our authentic selves.